Pakistan continues to sell the lie of being a victim of terrorism on international platforms. But the reality tells a different story of a state that sponsors terror networks, suppresses voices of dissent, and carries out extrajudicial killings to silence any demand for democracy. In Pakistan occupied Jammu and Kashmir, decades of political repression and economic exploitation have pushed people to the edge. The territory serves as Islamabad's launchpad for a proxy war against India, even as its own residents are denied their basic rights. Today, a rare wave of resistance is rising from within POJK, challenging Islamabad's grip and exposing its duplicity before the world. As activist Amjad Ayub Mirza warns, Pakistan exports terror abroad while mercilessly crushing its own citizens at home.
For years, international watchdogs have warned that Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir is being used as a breeding ground for terrorism. Pakistan's security establishment has been accused of directly financing, training and sheltering groups like Lashkar-e-Taiba, Hizbul Mujahideen and Jaish-e-Mohammed. These outfits operate with impunity, turning the region into a base for cross-border attacks while its people continue to live under colonial-style governance. POJK activist Amjad Ayub Mirza points out that Islamabad's strategy has always been twofold: exporting terror abroad while crushing dissent at home.
You see, this is no secret that the Prime Minister of Pakistani occupied Jammu Kashmir himself has been inviting all the jihadi organizations to his public meetings and has been raising slogans of Al Jihad, and he has publicly confessed that his government is going to facilitate jihad in Indian Kashmir. So why is he not being prosecuted by United Nations for promoting terrorism in the region? He is promoting terrorism publicly, and there are public statements, his press statements, he has been quoted in the media, but he still remains the Prime Minister of Pakistani occupied Jammu Kashmir. He has been supporting all the rallies that have been taking place in Muzaffarabad and other places.
This dual policy has defined Pakistan's approach for decades. Terrorists are glorified and supported, but anyone who dares to demand democracy, justice or self-determination is branded anti-state. Enforced disappearances, target killings and intimidation are routine tools of control. Even POJK's so-called assembly and government serve not the people but Islamabad's interests, acting as administrators to suppress mobilizations rather than address grievances.
Well, you see, Pakistani occupied Jammu Kashmir is a colony of Pakistan, and one of the main jobs that has been designated to the so-called Legislative Assembly and the government of Pakistani occupied Jammu Kashmir is to suppress public discontent, to suppress public mobilization against the government, and to suppress the civil rights, economic rights and political rights movement.
But the tide is turning. The Joint Awami Action Committee has emerged as a united platform, bringing together ordinary citizens against unemployment, inflation and decades of political suppression. Mass protests in Muzaffarabad, Kotli and other towns have shaken Islamabad's confidence, as thousands poured onto the streets demanding rights long denied.
The Joint Awami Action Committee is the only legitimate representative of the people's will in Pakistani occupied Jammu Kashmir. This has never happened in the past 78 years, that the masses have agreed to support one entity, and that entity is Joint Awami Action Committee. Therefore, Joint Awami Action Committee is looked upon as a threat not only by Pakistani occupied Jammu Kashmir government but also by the Pakistani government.
Instead of dialogue, Pakistan has responded with arrests, intimidation, and force. Authorities now view the Joint Awami Action Committee as a direct challenge to their control. Analysts say Islamabad's reaction mirrors its policies in Balochistan, Sindh, and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, where grassroots movements are crushed under the weight of military establishment. The contradiction is glaring. Pakistan speaks of self-determination for Kashmiris on global platforms, yet denies the same to those living under its own occupation. For the international community, POJK stands as a proof of Islamabad's double standards, fueling terrorism abroad, silencing democracy at home, and undermining peace across South Asia.